You probably assume that because you have a smartphone in your pocket and access to the sum of human knowledge, you are the smartest version of a human to ever exist. For 50 years, science seemed to agree, as IQ scores rose consistently from the 1930s to the 1990s in what researchers called the Flynn effect. But around 1995, that line stopped rising and began a dramatic reversal. Data from over 1 million people now confirms that intelligence scores are falling. We are currently witnessing a decline in the very skills that built civilization: abstract reasoning, processing speed, and executive function. While we have more information than our ancestors, the ancient software in our brains is struggling to keep up with a world it wasn't built for. The decline in modern intelligence isn't about our DNA, it's about our environment. A landmark Norwegian study compared brothers born years apart and found that younger brothers consistently scored lower than their older siblings, despite having the same parents and genetics. This proves the environment shifted in a way that depresses cognitive skills. One major culprit is the death of boredom. Executive function, the ability to focus and resist immediate rewards, builds like a muscle through effortful use. In 2004, the average person could focus on one screen for 2.5 minutes. By 2023, that number plummeted to just 47 seconds. Every app and feed is designed to interrupt you, and this constant fragmentation has weakened our working memory compared to previous generations. Furthermore, quiet changes in our nutrition, such as the replacement of iodized dough conditioners with bromine-based alternatives in the 1970s, have led to a return of iodine deficiency, which is known to lower IQ scores. To understand why ancient humans might have been smarter, we have to look at what happens when survival becomes too easy. In 1968, scientist John Calhoun created Universe 25, a paradise for mice with unlimited food, no predators, and no disease. He wanted to know what happens to a society when nothing is hard anymore. The result was a total social and cognitive collapse. When the population grew but the number of meaningful roles did not, the mice stopped participating in their own species. A group called the Beautiful Ones emerged. They did nothing but eat, sleep, and groom themselves, losing all ability to socialize or reproduce. Calhoun concluded that for a complex species, a life without struggle or meaningful roles leads to the death of the spirit before the death of the body. Our ancestors lived in a world of high friction, where every day required intense problem solving for survival, keeping their cognitive muscles sharp in ways a world of 47-second focus intervals does not. Our bodies and brains are essentially prototypes that never got a final update. This is known as evolutionary mismatch. For example, the spotlight effect. That feeling that everyone is judging your every move is a survival mechanism from a time when humans lived in small tribes of 50 to 150 people. In that world, your reputation was a literal survival tool. If the tribe saw you as strange, you could be cast out and die. Today, you pass more strangers in a week than your ancestors met in a lifetime, yet your brain still runs that ancient software, wasting massive amounts of cognitive energy worrying about an audience that doesn't exist. Similarly, our ancestors' brains were fueled by a diet of high-density nutrients like raw bone marrow and brains, foods that allowed for the rapid expansion of the human brain. We evolved from sharpened rocks to nuclear weapons in a geological blink of 2 million years, but our biological wiring is still stuck on the savannah. Ancient humans didn't have the luxury of outsourcing their thinking to machines. They had to navigate complex environments, track animals, and memorize vast amounts of botanical data without a written record. While we struggle to remember why we walked into a room, a baby's brain is actually recording everything. But those memories are often destroyed by neurogenesis, the same explosive growth of new neurons that builds the brain's architecture. Our ancestors had to be generalists, mastering dozens of high-stakes skills just to reach adulthood. Today we are seeing a convergence, where human cognitive scores are falling at the exact same time, AI systems are improving at the same tasks, such as reasoning and thinking under pressure. We are losing the ability to sit with a hard problem and find the real answer rather than the obvious one. So, were ancient humans smarter? They were certainly sharper generalists whose survival depended on the very executive functions we are currently letting atrophy. However, the data shows that this decline is environmental, not genetic. The Norwegian brothers prove that the line can go back up because the decline is based on how we live, not who we are. We're the only generation in history that can see this decline happening in real time and has the data to reverse it. Reclaiming our intelligence means reintroducing the friction that makes being alive meaningful, choosing effortful focus over passive consumption, and finding roles that require us to be more than just the beautiful ones in a digital paradise.